Some questions about Nigeria leaves you thinking for days. Some questions about Nigeria leave you perplexed. They leave you confused. They leave you scattered. They leave you shattered. They leave you battered. They leave you broken. They leave you in pains. They leave you in shambles. They leave you confused. They leave you with a spirit so dampened that getting hope or looking for hope or searching for hope wherever you think you get your hope from becomes so difficult, so far away, because it needs to be emphasized so rather than just so. It leaves you questioning yourself. This situation leaves you asking yourself too many questions. Are we really humans? Are we worth the time we tend to think we worth? Are we what the so-called priorities we tend to think our government should be given to us? Are we that important after all? And these questions can take different shapes. They can have different bearings. They can have different children attached to them. And if care is not taken, one begins to ask himself these questions, and one will find out that one is not even as important as one wants to tell himself one is in the grand scheme of things as it concerns Nigeria's reality. One would not even be taken so seriously because the country has not taken itself so serious. The country hasn't taken itself so dear. It has not looked at its life, the core of its reality, and told itself the truth that needs to be reconciled, the truth that needs to be pronounced out loud, the truth that needs to be spoken and spoken out freely and spoken out well. And it is what we need to do, and it is what at the moment we are not doing as a people. Why does a country so rich in people live so poor in possibilities? That question stems from a place of observation I want to believe, and I believe you know one or two things about my country, Nigeria, and the question born out of possibilities and the desire to grow as opposed to just giving up. It's an age-old, conversation out of potentiality and actuality and the whole conversations in between. This is so because Nigeria lost its reins or lost the control to its destiny at a particular point in time, and it shouldn't have been like that. But nonetheless, it lost its ability to think for itself, to grow for itself, to stand strong for itself, to hold on to its own people for itself, and it has not recovered. When you ask where or when this happened, particularly, it becomes a very difficult question to get to answer, because you would come to see to it that it's been at different branching times in the course of history that these situations have happened. But if we were to drag it to the very present, many persons put up this argument that our leaders ought to be responsible overnight. They need to change overnight. They need to become good people overnight. And I, I as a person don't buy that particular idea. I as a person don't buy that idea because you can't just change overnight. Even you making that particular comment, I don't see you changing overnight. I don't see you changing all of a sudden overnight. Just change, change to something good, change to something bright, become a better person all just by yourself because you just want to be better. It doesn't happen like that. And since corruption has taken a great toll on our people, it is difficult to be hopeful. In Nigeria, it is really, really difficult. You have to hope against all hope to really, really be hopeful in a place like Nigeria. And it's a thing that we need to look at critically now into the future. It's a thing that we as a people need to look at. And it's not as if I'm dodging the question. It's not as if I don't want to answer the question. The idea of the fact that we have so much potentialities, we have so much possibilities that can be actualized and that can be given their full head down there to bring about what they ought to bring about. But then we don't get it. We don't see that happen simply because we as a people, we've not looked at our life and we've not looked at our lives very, very well. We've not looked at our situations in the light of changing events and how we ought to look at them. We have not looked at our life in that particular direction, and we continue to make this same mistake, and we continue to crumble, born out of our desires not to change or not to make sense of our lives. And it's a problem. It's a really, really big problem if we must go forward. So, level of corruption, nepotism, tribalism, the different sentiments we get to put out there. These are many more the things that keep us backward, that keep us hanging, that keep us where we are. And sometimes we don't even want to admit it that we are the ones holding ourselves backwards. We don't even want to admit it that we are the ones, keeping ourselves where we are at the moment, and we are the ones who don't want ourselves to grow. How long can a nation survive when the basics, light, water, safety, remains dreams? I don't know. I guess we as Nigerians have lived even longer than people in our conditions would definitely survive. We have proven to ourselves and to the rest of the continent, or to the rest of the world, that we as Nigerians can survive. But do you just want to survive? I don't just want to survive. I want to live. I want to have water. I want to have light. I want to have electricity. I want to have ability to shop. I want to have the different things that make up for life in the 21st century. I want to have everything I can lay my hands on that will make life better for me. I want to have all of these things, and I want to have them in abundance. I don't want to have them and not have them. I want to have them fully, as fully present in my life as anybody. I want to have every good that life can give to me, when it should be given, how it should be given, for what reason it should be given. I want to have all the benefits that come with my simple existence. And I want this also for different countries and different nations that have been subjugated to one form of inequality or the other, one form of supremacy or the other, one form of colonial treatment or the other, one form of inhumane act or the other, affected by different policies and different conversations they ought not to even be looking at as a people. I want to look at everything. I want to look at my life. I want to appreciate everything. I want the next person to appreciate theirs also. So, where is this killing coming from? We don't need to kill each other. Do we need to kill each other? I don't think so. We have too much problems already to start thinking about killing ourselves. Why do we want to kill ourselves? There's no real reason. We have everything we need as a people to move on. So why do we want to deprive the world this universal idea and access to food, to medication, to drugs, medicine, I mean, not drugs in the other sense? Why do we want to deprive other people of peace and wage war against them, and sow the sense of discord amongst their people, and then we still want them to survive and move on and grow, cut their gas supply, cut their oil supply, sanction their oil, sanction their crude, sanction their minerals, demand them to give you guys at exorbitant prices, very, very low for any human wage, just to keep your own country going. Yeah, we do that. We do that a lot. And it ought to change. It needs to change. It needs to change now. It needs to change tomorrow. Why do leaders live abroad in their minds while citizens suffer at home in their bodies? Nigeria is it's a disaster of a place. And you've captured the question rightly so already. That leaders live anywhere they want to live, but their soul and their minds are far away, far off. It is simple. The Europe or the so-called abroad they are thinking about is not the abroad of living in Nigeria to Ghana or from Ghana to Senegal. It is moving out of the continent. And even if it's going within that continent, what has stopped leaders, my leaders, to be as responsible on the very, very basic front of things? Nobody cares about the big figures. On the tiny details, on the nitty gritties of the situation, we don't see them. We don't see their representation. We don't see the ways in which they can help society change. We don't see this. So that I look at Okulora, I detest the things he puts out there on the internet. Not detest in the real sense of me hating the work. It just brings about lots of trauma for those unsuspecting fans or followers who want to look at something or two from your page. But away from the level of aesthetics and the way it's been presented, how do people come about telling themselves the tales they get to tell themselves about other people? How do they reconcile this in their sleep? How do they even become this wicked? Because these are people who have fathers and mothers, or who have brothers and sisters, who had aunties, uncles, who had stuff going well for them. Even those who had a rough childhood can still be found in their category, can still be found in the category of the oppressors, simply because they have been more or less called pseudo bosses, or they have been left in charge of a few persons, and now they real few they can do and undo, and it's so sad. Leaders have not been able to see vision and see clearly that Europe was not built in a day. And even if it was built in a day, it was built simply because people put their neck out and put their expertise out there. From commerce to cartographers to road builders to entrepreneurs to different people to pianists to musicians to poets to writers, people have put up strength to see to it that countries work and they work well. Is Nigeria failing, or it's been failed? And by whom? Nigeria has failed. It can also pass for Nigeria is failing. And then the last question in and about this particular series is by whom? By the West. Then let the seeds that sow through the potentiality that would constantly be actualized until we get to that destination point. Maybe the point he will be able to confess and confess really to everybody. Nigeria is a disaster at the moment.